exactly what all is going on sometimes in the world? Or are you say you're pretty informed?
I get depressed, anxiety a lot. So I think a lot of the times my biggest problem is I don't live in reality.
Mm-hmm.
I live in my own reality because I'm more concerned with brewing up the creation of the future, right? Like I believe we're all here to serve our future selves.
Right.
So that 50-year-old Tisha can be like, man, sure am glad 30-year-old Tisha was awesome. So now my life is a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
So I sometimes try to ignore the current, like the news, the political aspect or religious differences because they're not benefiting.
Yeah. So yeah, the reason I was asking was because I asked myself, hi, Kelly. I asked myself this question because because sometimes, because like you, I want to focus on creating and I want to focus on creating, right? But then sometimes I'm like, wait, am I forgetting to check in with the world and not be like ignorant, you know what I mean, to what's happening? So I'm like, I'm trying to find the balance because I don't really check in so much. And then I find things out and I'm like, that's going on. I had no idea because I'm over here like you, creating. So I've been trying to, I don't know if you guys have any advice, but I've been trying to kind of find a balance here a little bit.
Well, I think it needs to be, I think the biggest focus needs to always be knowing what you want and having a belief. I think the secret is the belief that you can have anything you want, so that you know that once you acknowledge what you want, you can have it in time, and focusing on getting it, no matter what it is. And because a lot of people just don't have wants, they don't have focus, so they kind of like they drift, I guess is the common analogy we use. So no, I don't think that you need to belong to a world if that world is collapsing, right? You're a star. We're all stars. And it's like they say in churches sometimes, our God, your God. I've always asked myself, well, how many gods are there? Are they up in a different place playing poker or something? Because they are. I'd rather associate with them, right? So associate with the people at your level. And if people want to associate with you, force them to level up. Don't level down. Like, don't go too far down for people because you may just end up sticking around too long.
Yeah.
Now that could be a little heartless, but you don't got a lot of time, man.
Yeah.
You need to get shit done, and the world needs people like us, particularly you, Tisha and Callie, who are changing just the ether, and you're connecting just big ideas to a lot of people. The future is a lot brighter because you are focused and you're a big idea person.
Okay, that clicks. Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry for being a ramble.
No, that was good. That clicked.
Yeah, like for me, like, where Tisha is, she's sort of an anchor for the embodiment of wealth, but she's also able to meet people at that lower level, just under that want to change their paradigm. She can meet the person under that level as consciousness again, awareness that's really in debt, but you still maintain being I call it the anchor, but the lighthouse. You're still the lighthouse. All you've done is empathize with those other consciousnesses or awarenesses of where people are at and guide them to your level of awakened wealth consciousness. So you stay where you are, but you just fully empathize or sympathize, whatever you want to use, down to their level, so that I guess staying in your heart really is what you're doing. Yeah. And listening to what their concern is, and then helping them from that consciousness where you once was, in what you know around that, to where you are. And you're just giving them the gap steps between
Yeah.
So you don't need to go out into the world. The world comes to you
Right.
because you're the lighthouse. So
Yeah.
you're magnetic to the people that want to change.
Yeah. Thank you guys. This is what you're both saying, very like confirming and encouraging and also very comforting. Yeah.
Well, I think here's the issue that we were just talking about a little bit ago, was how crazy it is to me. I mean, I'm now in that same pool with those salmon that are swimming upstream for a cause that doesn't necessarily benefit them individually, risking death, eaten by, you know what I mean? Like the fact that so many people go about a system just developed so many years ago that was not meant to benefit the majority of the people. Like so many people are holding up the table for a very few on their backs, and people don't get upset and they don't challenge a system that doesn't benefit everybody. Instead, they're so scared of change. They're so fearful. It's almost like, well, the best example that comes to my mind, this may seem a little ramped up or off the wall, but during this, 1776 to 1861, we had slavery in the US, right? The average person in America didn't have a slave. Matter of fact, the average person life was probably just above the quality of a slave, if not shitty as hell. But as long as they knew that they weren't the slave, they were still happy to live in complete filth and disgust because they had nothing, right? Most of them were probably dying of disease. But as long as they felt like there was somebody beneath them, right? As long as they acknowledged, okay, well, my life may be horrible, but at least it ain't the worst life. Instead of people acknowledging, we could all have amazing lives because there's more than enough. Like instead of getting mad at people with the giant, cotton farms, they were just like, well, yeah. And then that's where we're at now. It's almost like as long as you're not the bottom, it's okay. But there has to be there doesn't have to be social classes. That's all constructed by the people that benefit from it, to keep benefiting.
I love that, James, because in fact, the people that are well off are actually thinking the opposite. Let's bring everyone else up. Let's help others, right? Like you're saying, as long as we're above that group here and this group here, we're doing okay. We're just talking from lack, convincing ourselves we're doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, we're not doing okay because we're not really thriving. So, but we're using that excuse to make ourselves feel better, that the other people aren't doing as good as us, so we're doing okay, which in a way is hope, I guess, but it's not a positive. It's positive, but it's not really thriving.
Right.
Where someone like Elon Musk or someone like Oprah is pulling other people up, no matter where they're at in that beneath them, because they want everyone to thrive. That's what we should be doing. We should be wanting everyone to thrive, even the ones just beneath us. Even if we're not, we should pull each other up and not think like that, because when we speak those kinds of words, we're actually holding both lower denominations in lack.
Yeah.
Even the ones that look just above are holding everyone in low vibration by even stating that.
Yeah. It's reminding me of like how they say comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yeah.
It's reminding me of that, like comparing versus collaborating, right? And it's kind of like, in a way, we do have a system, like the system was built for comparison, right? Like, oh, you got an A versus a B, like somebody did better or worse than you. There's a lot of that built into us from school, from education, and yeah.
Well, the problem is that we don't have a universal goal. Like, I talk to people, and even like particularly politics, religion. These are two major institutions that they separate us. They separate us because of beliefs. But it's like, okay, we have to find at least one common denominator. Like there's in math, right? You find the common denominator. And I tell people, okay, look, guys, we may not agree on much. Maybe just this one thing we can agree upon. But I will say this, at least 99% of the human race can agree that we need water to live. Like we all can agree to that, right? Boom, let's make that our focus. Let's make clean drinking water on the planet though, right? We can start small, yeah, our community, but let's have the goal be on the planet. Every living human being should have access, readily available access to clean drinking water.
Yeah, and
There shouldn't be
everyone,
no, so,
I was just going to say, like, everyone wants to survive, or definitely everyone. And so it's a survival mechanism, a survival thought or fear when you don't want to be at the bottom of the bottom. Right? So even the group just above slave want to survive. Their desperation is to survive, but that's also coming from fear and lack because you want to thrive. So we've got to flip our mindset into what we do want, but in thriving, we all thrive. That's the world's prayer or world's intention. We all thrive, and water is part of that. We can't thrive without good, healthy drinking water. We can't thrive without fresh air, clean air. We can't thrive without trees on the earth. If the sun disappeared, we wouldn't thrive. They're the basic survival needs. But everyone also has this understanding that it's a wealth survival need, a money survival need. And in a way it is nowadays, but in the old days it would have been a banter thing, or you share your vegetables but we don't seem to grow those anymore. So it's a money thing. I mean, what is it for you, Tisha, around wealth, seeing that's your expertise? What is it in the community, what you've witnessed between different levels of community that need thrival instinct to keep them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's kind of reminding me of I was reading it's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It's by Joe Dispenza, and there's a whole section on what he calls survival versus creation. So like, survival, thrival, survival versus creation. And it's a good way of looking at it, right? And, they give the whole example of, back in the day, we had to be in survival because, X, Y, and Z, we were cavemen, like, it was a different situation, right? But we still have those like mechanisms in our body to that when a thought comes to our mind that is threatening, that our body will like automatically go into survival, right? And it's like, and I think that happens, what I've noticed is that happens a lot with money, like in wealth. And what happens is the people that are in more of a survival mode, they tend to live more paycheck to paycheck, freak out at the thought of bills, oftentimes haven't even ever created a budget, and the difference I've noticed with people that I guess have it more together when it comes to money is that mechanism. They've learned how to kind of master their survival mode and able to actually create a budget or look at things from now going forward versus living in the past or things of that way. Yeah, like mastering the mindset around it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So like mastering the mindset, but mastering also what the container looks like what your container is. Does it have expansion when things change? Can you maintain that vibration that money aligns you with? You know, gratitude, joy, belief. Like, you know, you're mastering your mindset to match the container of the money you need to manage your budget, and then expand it a little bit more, expand that container a bit more so it's open enough to receive more, just to go above the budget and build that container, build that expansion, and keep believing that you're worthy of that. Like there's so many little areas you can put in there around mindset, you know, so make like having the budget like you're saying, but then just add one extra piece, you know, like this money will go here, even if it's not available, just have it there so that it's already on paper, creating an expansion. You're seeing it, you want it. And even if it doesn't come straight away, it's there to bring the receiving.
I love that. Creating the space. I love that.
Well, I think a big difference too between those, because you know what we can consider success of the world, you know, is different for everybody. But if we had, you know, this common denominators on what people consider to be successful, and I think those that we consider to be successful really have a different thought process. And I really don't think money is ever the intended, desired end goal. This becomes the byproduct of whatever they want. Because once you realize money is not the most valuable thing on the planet, right? Other than land and water, because they're limited and they have to use sustain life. Because if you were the last person alive on the planet and you had all the money, what would you do with it? It wouldn't even be worth its weight.
So true.
It wouldn't be worth it. It's paper, right? There's nothing paper. The concept of currency was developed, but it's a good one. I mean, it's helped us sustain a livable society. But the most valuable resource is human beings. Like we are the most important thing on the planet, and we need to start putting more value behind people. And I think once people start realizing that their intentions should not be to get money, but instead to serve people, right? Because all the people I listen to talk about, to be successful, you must be of the greatest possible service as possible. Figure out a way to serve as many people as possible. Figure out a way to provide as many people as possible with what they want, and you'll have everything you ever wanted. That's why I love people so much. You know, people ask me, what do you think about people? I love people. People are not imperfect. Every human being is perfect. The very idea of this imperfection and only one perfect person, that's a systematic flaw. It's part of the reason why we have such a distorted system, because people believe that. They believe it's something. It's like me creating a board game and not telling you the rules and just telling you, oh, you all lost at my board game. Well, life is not about your or my board game. It's about the game of life. And even dying is not losing. Existing in any matter or matter possible is winning. So nothing is imperfect. There's no such thing as imperfect. Not knowing somebody, like Tisha, can you read my mind? Well, of course not. So not knowing information that was created by somebody else to be true does not make you imperfect. Makes you different. It's not imperfect. You're perfect. We're all perfect. Every living being on this planet is perfect. And I think we need to change that mindset as well as many other mindsets. Oh, I'm imperfect. Oh, no. Quit buying the creators of these games. Quit buying their rules that aren't benefiting you. If it don't benefit you, don't believe it. That's what I'm saying.
Powerful.
Yeah, I love that, because even in that budgety thing I was talking about before about expanding, like that takes trust. And so in connection with community and serving, you've got to trust each other. Like if you're going to help me, James, and I need real support, I've got to trust you. And if I don't know you and you're reaching out to me and I'm desperate, I will trust you in that moment because I'm desperate, and I will trust you because I've got no other choice. But other people that are not in that lower desperation energy that may be somewhere in the middle, they may not trust you. They'll wait till they're desperate. So it really takes
Well, that's why
trust.
part of self is fear.
It takes a lot of courage, inner courage, and trust, and sincere people helping each other. And so in the service, it's all service. Even people like Oprah with money, she's serving the masses by being able to do what she does. Like, everyone's doing service, no matter where you're at. If you're willing to help another human being, that is thriving. In the service is thriving. They all have a place. The money has a place. It helps many. All those people that are wealthy around the world that help, all those big charities help people in third world countries. It's all helping. Like it's all service. It's just our mindset doesn't always support us to trust another human being unless we're fully desperate, or we're at the top of the pie and have been through it all and trust that service and helping others is the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing it was just making me think of is when you're at the higher level of creation, speaking of trust, like there's been moments where, like, especially this last week, I was telling James, it's been a really weird week. It's been really amazing in some ways, and it's been really like devastating in some ways. It's been all over the place. But one thing that I stood like really true to was just being really connected with God. And there was times where I literally was like, I trust you. I'm going to show up. I'm going to work. Like, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to show up and I'm going to do the work. And it's just amazing to see how, like, for me, it's God. Some people might be universe shows up and fills in those gaps of the things that I couldn't do. Right. But it's like, I chose to stay in a place of creation versus staying in that survival, because I could have easily been in survival mode all this week. Like, it's been a crazy week. But choosing to still show up to workshops and be live and do certain things, like that's when our creator really steps up for us sometimes, is in those moments when we show up regardless. But I'm still like, I put my hands up and I'm like, it's on you. Like, but yeah.
I love that, Tisha. So, thriving, creating powerful energy, like that takes trust to stay in the creative power energy. So you've set the boundary, the container. You want the container to expand so you can thrive even more. It takes trust to get out of your comfort zone of the size of the container you've put yourself in to a slightly bigger one. Like I said, just putting that one extra piece to the goal just to make it down on paper, bigger expansion, and not knowing how it's going to create. You're going to trust that you're worthy of asking for or wanting and desiring that extra piece to what you're already received. And as that expansion opens you up through trusting it, just, like surrendering to the trust and receiving, accepting, because that's what you did. You, in your creative power, you trusted, you surrendered, you accepted whatever will come. And then you received, because in all of those components, you were willing to be patient and expand and stay expanded. And then you thrived in that. You got to feel the difference between thriving and lack. Mm-hmm. That experience. And once we tap into the feeling of the difference of what that feels like, it brings a bit more excitement, a bit more joy, a bit more gratitude, expands you a bit more, taps you into hope. So it really takes trust to get out of an old paradigm, because it's an unknown zone if you haven't been there before.
Yeah.
I don't know where I got this information from. Let's just go with it real quick. Since we're getting short on time, I know Tisha has to be somewhere. But Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain what you want to a 6-year-old, but could then repeat it to a 6-year-old, it is not simple enough. Like, you need to be able to explain what it is you want to a 6-year-old who can then regurgitate it to another 6-year-old. That is the core of what you want. I'll give you an example. And before we get off, I'd love to hear what you two ladies want, if you can do so. I know it's short notice, but this Sunday, I also like to remind everybody that law of perpetual transmutation of energy is going to be the law, the universal law. But an example of what I want that a 6-year-old can explain to another 6-year-old is that James, the James Cardoza, wants to be seen, heard, and known by the entire planet. It's pretty simple. Seen, heard, and known.
I love that.
By every living person today and tomorrow. Thank you.
That is so cute.
Awesome. Well, one of my, I remember, I'll never forget when I realized this, and probably shared this with you guys, but when like one of the first months that I opened my nutrition and fitness center, I had like this little gathering. This is actually when I first got to know Kiara, and it was all business owners, and we all shared like our purpose. And so for me, I just want to love people unconditionally, really, with anything and everything that I do. My dad's dog is so freaking cute. And every time she sees me, she has the same freaking excitement. Like, she's so excited, runs around like a crazy person. And she just has so much joy in her heart. And I'll never forget one time when this is the story though. So I was washing my car and I had to tie up Herbie because I didn't want her to get all wet. And she was just so excited, so excited. And like, just the face, the little face that she made, I was just like, that is what I want. Like, that's what I want in life, is like the excitement, the joy, like of just feeling like unconditional love for people and situations and being fully present with people. I don't know if a 6-year-old can regurgitate this, but my point was to just love unconditionally. That's why God created me, was just to love unconditionally. Yeah.
You're already doing that. You're already winning. Because you're already that amazing human being. That's probably why so many amazing human beings come into your life.
Beautiful, Tisha. I want that too. I actually always wanted humanity to feel joy, but the internal joy can't be taken away. Like an internal joy that only you can tap into, no one else can, but you can share it. But it's an internal joy that just continues and nothing can change it. And so, speaking from the freedom of that, the freedom of your authentic internal joy, that's what I want for all people.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Man, you guys' goals are so much more selfless than mine.
You're funny. Yours is awesome. To be seen.
I know.
Oh, that's really awesome. And that's very impactful.
Yeah, I guess part of my ego wants to be seen, heard, and known. But I think when it comes down to everything that I ever think about wanting, peeling back the onion, that's what it comes down to. Right? If you ask yourself why you want what you want, it comes down to a feeling. And I know that once I'm seen, heard, and known by the whole world, I know that's when the world change is going to begin, because then we can jump on a universal wavelength. And it's not long till we have flying cars. It's not long till disease is vanquished. You go and Doc like a villain. It's not long till all these things, till the quality of life for everybody's good. We should be living in what is reality. That is, we are in heaven on earth. This place is heaven, right? Free will is the gift. We all have free will. We need to start treating this place like it's heaven, not trashing it. Like we're going to leave it to a better place. It may not be a better place. This may be the best place. Let's start treating it like it is.
Amen.
I stole that one actually from that Indian guy. I apologize. I don't mean to call him Indian guy. I can't pronounce his name. My English tongue does not pronounce Indian names well. My apologies.
I've got to say, yours is a great gift for the world, James, because with your huge heart, imagine being seen and heard with the power of your compassion. Like that will change the world. So if every human being gets to see and meet you in virtual reality, then they will meet compassion. That will change the world.
Thank you. Now it's taking a lot of footwork. I ain't gonna lie. Actually, I had an idea today. I'm not sure if I'll have the courage to do this or not, but I thought about on the weekend when I get off work, driving down to Venice Beach and having a sign and seeing if people want to join my Sunday my Sunday gathering on the boardwalk, a big cardboard sign, universal light.
Spin.
Yeah.
Aren't you doing your boot camp? You could do Sunday boot camp and then do a meditation or something, I don't know, at the end of it, or a talk, collaboration, mastermind.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time getting people to wanting to actually show up to physical activity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that if it doesn't require work, people are more likely to want to partake. As long as it involves something that makes them feel good.
Yeah.
But what I'm inviting them to isn't really so much a gathering as much as just an introduction to the universe and how they can use what is happening to their benefit. Law of attraction. So law of perpetual energy, transmutation energy, Think and Grow Rich, law of success talks about sexual transmutation, sex energy being one of the most predominant energies that we have, taking that energy and utilizing it in another area. Well, anything can be said for any level of energy, right? Think about the level of energy that hate or anger brings a person. Once a person has that vengeful mentality, they're willing to go through a great level of difficulty to achieve it. Well, take that same enthusiasm you have towards that negative energy and apply to something positive. We need to start redirecting our forces, redirecting what drives us, right? Be less vengeful, be less envious, be more joyous, be more loving. Imagine if you said today, I want everybody on the planet to win. There is no losing, there's only winning. And everybody's going to win. And that's what I want to focus on. Focus on something like you guys both said, love and joy. These are good energies, right? So but the average person can't because they're focused on something negative. So they need to take that energy and redirect it, transmute it. So, but Tisha, are you having to hop off or are you still good?
I have 2 minutes. And then I'm
okay. Kelly, you have any last words before we hop off?
Well, I was just going to say my Friday mastermind's about the sex transmutation energy. And so Think and Grow Rich, women's book, chapter 10, I think it is. I'm reading it, but I can't remember the chapter number. I think it's 10. But just the mindset around that, like whatever you're thinking creates very quickly. So just having that sex transmutation energy, which is just back to creative power energy, the creative power of the womb and the sacral chakra, all of that area, is just follow it and support it with a positive mindset. Or once you're aware of the mindset you've got, and if it's one in lack, try and keep flipping it back into the mindset of what you do want, because our creative power center creates very fast. And as people know, just from all the negative things they've witnessed, it's creating all the time. So keep flipping your mindset and make the box a positive, broader box with a bigger mindset. Like you know, adding some sort of goal, affirmation, just auto suggestion, stick it on a sticky note, stick it on the fridge, make the mindset a note on the fridge to keep reading of what you do want. Make it a real habit. Make it a new habit, but a good one.
Yeah. And Tisha, is there anything you want to say? Like, I would like to hear you plug in what you started over the weekend with your sisterhood.
Yeah. Well, one big, I guess, announcement is we've officially changed our branding from the Sisterhood to Prosperity Sisters, so that it's a place where women could come and really heal their money wounds and generational limiting beliefs that they've had about money. So we have launched our very first 5-day Flow into Your Finances workshop. And it's technically not too late to join. So if anyone is interested, they can still join and kind of watch the replays. Callie's been so amazing. She thank you for being a part of it, Callie. And yeah, and it's been awesome. And if anybody's interested in joining it, they can reach out, and would be very happy to have them in the workshop.
Hey guys, this was an amazing mastermind, and whether we realize it or not, everything each one of us wants, we are that much closer to achieving it, because the ether connects everything, and the farthest star just felt the vibration that we all put off. So thank you guys for helping me achieve what I want, and I'm a privileged individual for helping be a part of your guys' journey and helping you achieve what you guys want. So thank you very much to both of you, Kelly and Tisha. And everybody else out there in the world, we look forward to seeing you. We are here to be seen, heard, and known. Let us know how we can help you. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you, James.
Thank you. That was awesome. Thanks, Tisha.
Thank you.
You're doing awesome, by the way. I love your name of your new group, Prosperity Sisters.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Take care, guys.
All right.